if we did ring practice, we'd untie them, I'd bring Lelia out, they'd all link tails. We'd go up to the ring fence, the tent was already up, and then Dickie Chipperfield would open the curtains, and they were right, in you go. And he said to me, Max, he said, 50 yards over there. I had to keep away so I couldn't hear the training. And then the curtains were drawn. They were in there for about an hour and a half, and all you could hear was the whip cracking, like, get down, Lelia down. And we knew exactly what they were doing, because all the Chipperfields had walking canes. But there's my walking cane. You think of the, Norman cane. Now, they had a spike here, there, and they'd have a big, longer one there. And what they would do to get the elephants, because the elephants were not too happy about them, because they knew they were going for training, they would grab the elephant by the ear, like that, and pull it along. And they'd go, come, Lelia.
Come here.
There used to be blood behind the ear as well. That was another thing we noticed. So they'd grab an elephant by the ear to get it to go down on its knees. They'd get 2 walking sticks and pull back on the ears. The elephant would push his head forward and then go down the knees, and it knew. And then you crack the whip at the same time. The same thing as when they used to do, the elephants used to all go back on their back legs. Now, the only way to do that, and I saw evidence of this, of the bleeding of the toenails. They had they spiked the toenails. So they would crack the whip and dig the toenails. If it wasn't obeying them, that's what they would do. And they would dig it in, they'd all go. So as soon as they knew the whip was cracking, up they would go. He would go, here up, anyway. But that was the cruelty. So never kid yourself. I used to do 3 nights a week elephant duty. I would suddenly be called by Chipperfield, maybe at 1:30 or 12:30, something like that, for ring practice. And I thought, why did I want to do that at this time? So I used to have to unchain them, lead Lelia over there to their stand again, 50 yards away. The curtains would be closed, in they'd go, the whip would be cracking, maybe for an hour and a half. And one of the first thing I noticed, they were trying a new act, and it was a back stand for Rani and Sally together. And I thought, they're not getting it right. And there was a lot of shouting from Chipperfield, and Rani do this, Rani do that. And then when she came out the ring, I noticed that Rani was bleeding from the toenails, because we used to polish those and paint them for the show. But she was heavily bleeding. And I said to Dickie, Dickie, what's going on? He went, no, it's all right, she's had a small accident. But they were putting the walking stick into the toenails, the fleshy part, and they would do that. You do that, they would bunch up like that. So that was what was happening. When the feet were bleeding, she had to be treated for that. And they couldn't use her in the show, very badly bleeding. Took 2 or 3 days to get her feet back to normal, yeah. So the very first day I met the elephants, I walk in and I wonder why, at 16 years old, why are they all bobbing up and down? Every elephant had his own movement. Like Lelia would be going side to side, Rani would be doing quick bobs, and Sally had another way of going head right down, every one. And you think about it, they are now chained up with nothing to do, absolutely nothing. They can't move, only a certain restricted area. Well, about 10 paces forward, but that's what they do. That was boredom. That's 24/7 chained up like that. That's what it used to be. It could be elephants, it could be tigers, lions, or chimps, or bears. They're all the same. The boredom in those cages was disgusting. Never. It was a show must go on, whatever. It's money in the box office. That's all it was about, money. They didn't care. All this love, they loved performing. No, they didn't. They didn't. Do you think to chain them up all 24/7 and then go over and perform? No. Well, you go, oh, they love doing it. No, they did not. They much prefer to be bloody free and be doing what they want to do, not performing like. Any animal, I think, that has to do that, there's always cruelty. From the bears, have you seen those bears, those dancing bears, what they do to them? No. Don't ever tell me the Chipperfield loved them. They didn't. Well, I had an assistant who didn't really care. It was just the money and the job. But they didn't like him, and I knew that, because if they could get you, if they could sort of throw something at you, especially Sally, she would. But me, because I represent feeding and watering them and whatever and caring for them. The Chipperfields represent the show must go on rubbish. Yvonne from Holland, it was all glamour, you know, into the ring, but I didn't even know. She was quite friendly, but some of the lions, you looked at them and said, why you look so gummy? And she said, well, we do have to extract their teeth. I said, but those claws, why he's got so much hair over his paws? She said, well, we'd withdraw those on two of the lions that have, not everyone, not all of them, just two of them, that they were the male lion, and they could be very vicious. And I think at one time they'd attacked us, but it was all fake, you know. Even swimming with the crocodile, girl used to swim in a tank. The crocodile's mouth was taped up with catgut, so he couldn't open it anyway. She pretended to be wrestling it, but it didn't happen. And for the first time, there they were. I walked in, 12 elephants all lined up. And that was the beginning of a whole career on the circus. Lelia, Mary, Kamala, Susie, Dayla, Dana, Rani, Sita, May, Maybe, and Jelly, and Sally. And I'm going to say one thing. I didn't know when I was 16 just what it was like. And sometimes Lelia didn't like Susie. She didn't like Susie. And if they got together, they would fight. And I remember a time when they did fight and lifted up the whole boards, and they were really fighting. Don't forget, we used to saw off the tusks. All the tusks had gone. They didn't have tusks. The job entailed washing them down, feeding them and raking them out. I didn't know what he meant by raking out until later. When I first arrived, my first show was in Dudley, and Louis, preparing for the show, put the harnesses on, paint the toenails gold or silver, whatever it's got to be. And then Louis said to me, Max, we've got to do this, we've got to rake them out. And I went, okay. He said, it's a thing, it's unpleasant, but it has to be done. So anyway, he said, right, now get a bucket of water, lots of soap, draw it from the stalls, and meet me at the back of Lelia. So I get at the back of Lelia, and he goes, now listen, what, soap your arm, I'll do it first. So he pushed his hand up Lelia's backside and started to pull all the whatever down. And I went, have I got to do that? He said, yes. I said, what, the whole 12? He went, twice a day. He went, yes. So that was that. And then it wasn't pleasant. I don't think it was nice for the elephants. I don't think, not for me as well. But that was to stop them messing in the ring, because you have never seen on a show where you got the elephants are dropping their droppings. It just didn't happen. So every elephant had to be raked out. I do feel guilty, although I was only 16 to 17, that even now I've got a bit emotional thinking about, you know, those elephants for 24/7. It's like I'm going to take you there, I'm going to take your life, and I'm going to give you nothing. That's what hurts so much. I mean, I've done time in Nick for forgery, and I knew I was going out, but my elephants didn't. I saw a photograph once which has really got to me. I cried for some time. And it was the last time I saw, I recognised Lelia and Kamala anywhere. They were beginning to split the circus. Chipperfield already sold their elephants to all out. Some went to Malaysia, back to Malaysia. Some went to Australia, Germany, Belgium, to the circuses. But there was this open truck, and it was on a railway siding. And what happened, you see, I know Lelia because she was slightly greyer colour. Lelia, Kamala had linked trunks, and it looked like they were both going different directions. Like one was going there, and it was like the last bloody goodbye. That really got to me. I didn't even want to save it because I kept thinking about it and think, what happened? Then I found out, if you Google and find out what happened to the circus elephants, I mean, Rani died of liver failure in, I don't know, I think was it South Africa, but they all split. I mean, no, that's the saddest photograph. It's getting out to people that this should stop. I'm a bit emotional at the moment because I keep, sorry. Sorry. It shouldn't bloody happen. Oh, gosh. I feel emotional, but I feel a little bit of relief that I couldn't do anything because I was 16 years old, but, you know, anyway. Please be kind to animals, don't hurt them.